guys, this is Average Cracker with a video tutorial on how to switch the oil on the 2007 mx-5, and I'm pretty sure it's the same for all the NCs. We're not only changing the engine oil, we're also doing the diff oil. I already got started somewhat on taking out the oil, so if we look down here, I'll show you where the drain plug is, but it's pretty much all out. I want to show you guys this right here. So this metal piece is actually a slab that doesn't really cover the drain plug, but it's in this little hole here. The issue is the last time I did this, it kind of got all over the place. So I just took it off this time. Much easier to do it. So definitely recommend that. And as far as for this slab here, this thing that I took off, you're gonna need a 10mm for these little guys. Or, oh no, I'm sorry, a 12mm for these guys. There's a couple of them in all these corners. Alright, so right over here is where your drain plug is gonna be. It's gonna take a 17mm to take that off. And this is actually where that slab went. That's where your your filter is. What we're going to be using to get that out, I'll show you in a second. There's a couple of different tools. I don't know what they're called exactly, but this is the one that I prefer to go with rather than one of these, because this kind of slips a bit. This one will kind of scrape the oil filter a bit, but as long as it doesn't penetrate in any way, it's fine. I got off the cap and I actually take it over here and I hold it upside down, and then, well, right side up I guess, and then put it upside down, let it drain into whatever your pan is. If you only have one pan, just put it in the pan, let it drain out. Where's it come from? Anyways, so as you can see, there's just oil all over the place here, there, and it's just, I don't know any other way to avoid that. Here's my brake cleaner. I use the non-chlorinated stuff because non-flammable, so why not? And what you want to do is just go up in here, make sure you don't get any in your eyes, because I've done that before and that crap hurts. Try not to get it on any plastics, if any, in the way. You kind of just let that sit there and wipe it clean. This is what your dipstick should look like. If it's totally dry, which means that you have properly drained your engine. Grab the drain plug. We're just gonna pop this in right here. Just do this by hand. Alright, and here's our K&N performance filter. Let's put this up in here. Alright, now that both the filter, although very dirty, and this are on, take the remaining oil, just drain it into this thing. And if you don't have one of these other pans, just collect it in there. You can always use it for later, in dire emergencies, or yeah, go recycle it. Dispose of this properly, because it is toxic. And after that, what I'm going to be doing is filling it up with some royal purple. And I got 5 W20. And we're using 4 of them, and then some Lucas oil, but I'm going to do 4 and then a bit of Lucas oil in there. And what I'm using for a filter is the K&N Performance Series, and it's the HP 1002. So I already refilled it. I used all 4, and then some Lucas oil, not the whole thing, even though it says for every 4 quarts use a whole quart of Lucas oil. I'm not too sure about that, because I've put too much oil in my Honda before and no bueno. So let's just do just a bit of the Lucas oil, and definitely put Lucas oil in your car, because it'll help knocking and stuff and prolong the engine. And I'm not sure if you could see that very well. that's where you want it to be, pretty much half or a little bit over half, but not over that second notch right there. So that is perfect. Okay, so now we'll get started on the diff. And back here is where your differential is. And that's a better view so you can see exactly where it is. Right here, can't really see much, it's kind of dark, but right there is going to be your filler cap, and here's your drain cap. So I believe for this one, say 13, let me see. It's a 15 by 16, and the filler cap I still haven't figured out, but one thing you're gonna want is a breaker bar, just in case your bolts are kind of tight on there after like the smallest twist ever. So there's not a lot of torque on this thing that you need to apply. And okay, that is out, and that is your filler plug. Yeah, it smells pretty fishy. So yeah, I'll drain it and I'll fill it back up. For the the differential, we're using 75 W90. I was looking for the 80 W90, but this is a more stable formula, but this will work. And in order to get this inside of there, I'm gonna have to make a, not a funnel, I guess like a pump or something. I'll figure it out. Probably have one sitting around to get that in there, because you can't just pour it in since it's above the exhaust. There is proper torque for these back here, as well as the little drain plug, but I'm not too worried about it. As long as that lines up there, should be good. So make sure you take a picture of where yours is, and you should just backtrack and make sure it's adjusted to the same place. Okie dokie artichokey. Now, after pretty much all day, as you can see, it's like dark outside. Well, it's only because yeah, it took all day pretty much. Way longer than it should have taken. All my plans failed with that bottle and the tubies and those things, everything. So eventually I was like, you know what, maybe I can fit the bottle in there, and that's exactly what I did. So definitely recommend invest in an oil pump or fluid transfer pump. I don't know what the hell it's called. So as you can see, hopefully this thing will not focus, but right in there you can see the royal purple, and I measured it with like a screwdriver. You just shove it in there kind of like a dipstick, and you can just tell, and it's kind of seeping out this way, which is exactly where you want it to be. So invest in a fluid transfer, oh god, it's slippery, transfer pump or something. Save yourself all this time. And yeah, now I'm just gonna put that bolt, I'm gonna put that bolt back in there, tighten it up, put this muffler back in. And side note, these things, definitely put some grease in there so that if you ever have to take off your muffler, way easier. Those are a pain in the butt when they're dried up. I just WD-40'd it, but I'm definitely putting grease in there just for next time. Alright, so that was how you change the diff fluid, not transmission fluid, the engine fluid, and a little bit more complicated than it needed to be, but yeah, definitely buy a pump. Thanks for watching, leave a thumbs up and subscribe.